1035 KTU, the beat of New York. It's Carolina Bermudez, normally with Greg T in the morning, but today it's just me and Miley Cyrus. Good morning, Miley. How are you doing?
So good. Happy to be seeing you.
I know, you know what? I'm so happy to see you. Normally you come into the studio and I get all kinds of tips. I still have like a Tom Ford lipstick that you recommended the last time we saw
Yay!
you. So, that's the only reason why I'm like, oh, I wish we were in studio together, but it's so great to see you nonetheless. Midnight Sky. Tell me all about the single. This is so exciting.
It is really exciting. One thing that is really unique from all the times that we've spoken to each other before, and we've seen each other over the years, always bringing in new music. But
Yeah.
something that I really took advantage of at this time is something that I kind of laugh about, and my little sister definitely laughs about, is that I used to, make albums and make records, and I would go sign physical copies, and my fans would line up down the street. And now, if you have that would always kind of put a damper on the creative process, because you'd write a song and then you couldn't have it out until 6 months later.
Right.
And actually, Dolly is working on a Christmas record that I had to cut in July. So that's the way that physical copies work.
Right.
But now you can write a song. I wrote this song 6 weeks ago. So it's super fresh, exactly where I'm at. And there's none of that time in between where there's that disconnect between what was and what is. And so now my fans are really able to kind of hear from me in real time. And I've never really taken advantage of that before, because I think making a body of work, making a record has always been really important to me. Usually I don't just write a single, I write a body of work. But for this, I felt like, this whole time that we're going through, all of 2020, it felt like this is a good time to kind of take advantage of this new way that we connect. This is amazing that we are able to still talk to each other this morning just through our communication. So it was very cool. I sound like an old lady, but it was very cool to be able to write a song and put it out and not have to have that downtime. And I think it was always available to me. I just didn't really take advantage of it before.
It's a different process, but you know what? I appreciate that because it's in the moment. And you're right. Like, you could be in a different place 6 months from now when a single would come out than you were in that particular time, So
and that's what kind of happened with I was kind of doing this like trilogy of records. I was at first doing, She Is Coming, and then there was She Is Here and She Is Miley Cyrus. And then as I was making the record, the longer it took, the more time that went by, the less connected I was to those songs and to that record, because there had been so much time, so much evolution, so much change. And so that was kind of what had really happened, because even before, a really big and public breakup and losing my house to the fires and all these things, I'd actually written She Is Coming, and then it didn't come out until after all that had happened. And so I was really coming out singing about, like whether it was Mother's Daughter or Catitude or Party at the Street, but I had all this like trauma that I wasn't really able to speak on, because I was singing songs from a time where I didn't even know that was going to happen. That hadn't happened to me yet. One thing that's weird is sometimes life does imitate art. Nothing breaks like a heart. The first line is, this burning house, there's nothing left. And I wrote that 2 months before our house actually caught fire. So that sometimes art and life do funny things where they kind of mirror each other and bring it out of each other. But usually you're singing songs that maybe you don't relate to, at least so much. It's not so personal.
Yeah, it seems like you got really personal with this, though, and I wanted to talk about the video. I've been seeing the images on your Instagram. I cannot wait to see the video, but it just, for this time that you're in, how did you work on the video and where did you do it? Like, did you go to a studio? Like, how were you able to do that? I heard you were very hands-on and you directed it as well.
Yeah. So something that was really important to me, because I always had conceptualized my videos, but over the years, I've kind of really polished my craft as actually a filmmaker. And so like everyone that kind of is coming into their like mid and late 20s, I think start thinking like, okay, what am I going to do with all the skills I've collected? Whether you've gone to school, whether you've been interning, I'm at the same place as everybody else, where I really started looking like, what am I doing with my life as an adult person? Who do I want to be? Mm-hmm. And everyone probably assumes I had that figured out, but I didn't, because this is kind of the time that happens for you. And filmmaking was a really important part of that next step for me, like writing and producing and directing film. And so a good way to gauge how near or far that goal is to being something that I could accomplish is by trying it. And a video is such an incredible way to do it, because it's really only 3.5 minutes.
It's like a short film, exactly, it's like a little tidbit. Yeah.
And it was really about me. So it wasn't delivering too many characters or ideas. It was just seeing like, can I take what's in my head and make it a reality.
Right.
Which
It
is
can
kind
it
of been my
translate?
Exactly. Kind of in my specialty anyways, by really giving these experiences to my fans, whether it's with the Bangers tour or anything like that, conceptualizing and making a reality, but I never really had to do it for myself. And I think that's what all of us are doing right now. We're kind of looking at everything and going, all right, this ain't getting done, whether I do it myself. Here I go. Let's go outside. Let's go protest. Let's go get involved. And I think that was kind of the same thing. It's just like taking back that narrative of saying, if I want something to get done, I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to make sure it's my story, not a story that's being told for me.
I love this, Miley. Not like, you know what, you've always been so true to yourself, but I'm just like feeling such great energy from you. It seems like you've taken this time to like really just perfect your craft and grow and be better. So tell me about the significance of some of the things that are in the video, because I've heard that every single thing means something to you, or it's from an era in your life.
Yeah, my dad has always kind of instilled in me just like the importance of kind of like, you know, whether it's metaphor, visual metaphor. My dad is like this also. And so every scene, you know, I mean, we can talk about kind of one thing that's, I guess, kind of there's a continuity to it within the music video is the disco ball. And what that kind of represents is that people are totally attracted and mesmerized by their beauty, but really they're just a bunch of broken pieces put back together again to kind of make this like beautiful, entire, full. And this, what's amazing is like, I do think we are attracted to kind of like brokenness because we all see it within ourselves. And then we go, oh, we're not so broken. If we're in it together, we can kind of like create a unit. And then when that disco ball, which is still super intriguing when the light doesn't shine on it, but you can tell that it's broken. But when the light is really, you know, kind of shining its like glory onto this object, the light that it reflects and what it creates is just something that people are really drawn to and in awe of. And I think that's something that happens when you go through these kind of like experiences that can be traumatic and break you and bend you. Then like what you become at the end of it, once you find how to put yourself back together again, it's just very cool. And I think people are really, really intrigued by people that can put themselves back together.
Miley Cyrus is dropping some knowledge this morning. That was so deep. I will never look at a disco ball the same way again, because it's true. The way that you just put it, it's like
next time you look at it, you're going to see your soul. You're going to be like, that is me. I am that beautiful.
And the light that's reflecting from it is me. It comes from inside. I love that. I cannot wait to see it. Now, I saw that you were together with Dua. Did she hear the single? What did she think about it? Or did you play it for her at all?
She heard the single, and what's really funny is like her and I come from opposite ends of the world. And, and afterwards she goes, what a treat. I'm like, yeah, I've never heard someone listen to one of my songs and call it a treat before. It is a treat.
Yes, you're like, it is delightful, you know?
Like, it's a banger, right? And she's like, it's a treat. So I thought that was really very cute. Lots of class. We love to see it, Dua. Me, not so much. But her and I have been friends for a while. I actually got to go to her hometown. I went to Kosovo and played at the Sunny Hill Festival with her. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've like kind of hung out in London a little bit and like we found this really like collaborative, really cool pairing because we're really similar, but we're also really different. And I think it's very complementary towards each other.
Totally.
And, you know, again, like I've never been someone that feels any competition. I always try to kind of like go and anything that I can kind of like give to a new artist of saying like, these are kind of some of the things I watch out for and the ways to protect yourself. But also like, she's so like present and wise and like in super centered. Like every time I see her, there's that idea of like, she does have all the things that it takes to kind of like be a star where there's nothing normal about her, but in a way she's really normal, you know? But
I love that you can support each other. Like that's always been your vibe though. I feel like women supporting women, you've always been very outspoken, you know what I mean? So I could see that like synergy between you two.
What I really love about her is there's something different and unique enough about her that you know that she's really special and she has something really special, but there's just something too that you're like, she's so like off duty a lot of the time, which I just love because that's how I am. Like if you see me in the studio or something, it's not always with, you know, kind of this public persona. Like she really lets her guard down. And I love it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wanted to talk to you because you were so productive during quarantine. You started your Instagram show, which I just totally enjoyed. You had people come on like Paris Hilton, Demi, you invited all of your friends to come over. What inspired you to start that and to do something for your fans?
I love doing something that's never been done before. So I wanted to have a show where I could have Paris Hilton and then Elizabeth Warren. That was like,
Right?
I was just wondering how counter I could actually be, as I know that's kind of, that's very me to one day be Paris Hilton and one day have on my white button down and be talking to you.
Why not? Everybody can do it. Yeah.
Quarantine was very much like, why not? Let's just go for it. And so I really wanted to connect with my fans in a new way that I hadn't really been, again, taking advantage of. And I think that's just because I do cherish so much my own time and my personal life. And so
I felt like if anybody could do well during quarantine, it was you, because you're not really like the person that's always out there. You have your animals, you love your house. I know you're close with your family.
Yes, I prefer for sure to be kind of like, especially now, I'm like a total homebody.
Right.
And so it felt pretty good. I definitely, there was times where I was lonely for sure, and it made me feel less lonely. And that's what I thought. That's what I was getting, and that's what I was giving, and that's what I want in any relationship is I love Megan Thee Stallion so much, and she says you got to bring something to the table other than your plate. And I'm like, okay, like I didn't want to go on Instagram and be like, here's all the things that I'm missing, and it's like,
right,
what am I bringing to you, and what are you bringing to me, and let's have a healthy relationship. Let's like give and take with each other. And some days I gave more, and some days I took more. Someday it was just a really healthy dynamic with my viewers.
Right. And you're not dwelling on the void. You know what I mean? You're providing people with something and they get to see you and connect. But it's true. You also gain something from it as well. One thing I wanted to ask you, did you binge on anything while you were in quarantine? Like any good shows or any new music that you've listened to?
Any garbage I could find, I inhaled. And the one thing that I have to be careful of is I'm a parrot, where if I watch or hear, this is why my language is probably so filthy when I was even little, because if I hear something, it gets stuck, and all of a sudden I am becoming that person.
Yeah.
And I couldn't watch any more reality TV because I was starting drama just so I could say some of the lines that I was hearing on TV, because I'm like, ooh, that sounds so fun to be
totally.
To be that careless with your words and have like that little shame. I gotta go there. So I
have to
TV only because I wanted to stop before I was like giving my dog wine like Jessica on Love is Blind.
Oh my gosh, no,
that's when stop. I drew the line.
I was like, that was it, game over. Really quickly before we go, one of my best memories was of KT Euphoria. I believe it was 3 years ago. You played Malibu. It was such a vibe. We were outside and it was so beautiful. But now we're doing these virtual concerts, and we've announced that you're going to be at our 2020 iHeartRadio Festival. How do you feel about performing virtually?
I've been trying again to just like make my lemonade, and I love being able to take advantage of what's going on. And so the one thing I do really love about it is the kind of like creative challenge, because I've always loved challenges. And I think that there's a way to make people feel like they can relate to your performance, because it's the time that we really want to relate to each other, but you can also give them that pop culture escapism.
Totally.
So it's like, yes, I am at home, but look at my environment. I still want to entertain people. I think that there's something great to be said about good old fashioned pop culture escapism.
I agree with you. I cannot wait to see your performance. I know you're going to bring it. Before I let you go, Stephanie from Jackson, New Jersey had a question that I actually really want to know the answer to. What are the chances, Miley, that we would ever see you portray Hannah Montana again in a reboot? Or could you even see yourself fully doing a TV series ever again?
You know what? Honestly, I try to put that wig on all the time. She's just sitting at storage, collecting dust, and I'm ready to whip her out.
I'm waiting for it.
Me too. The opportunity will present itself. I definitely would like to resurrect her at some point. She needs a big makeover because she's kind of stuck in 2008. So we're going to need to go shopping with Miss Montana.
I love it.
I'd love to do a series again. I think it'd be hard for me to get locked into a soundstage for a couple years, but at some time in the future, and hopefully I'm directing it.
Well, Miley, I think you can do anything you put your mind to. You're so incredibly talented. I always love talking to you. Thank you for joining us today. Now, I want to remind everybody, Midnight Sky, check it out. We love you, Miley. Thank you so much. And when you're in New York next time and you can actually come to visit, you got to come to the studio again,
okay? Of course I will. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.